Hello everyone, Earl Henderson, Primordial Defense. Thank you for watching. I have another Monday quarterback video for you. I'm going to play this video and talk about things that are going on to better explain what's going on and talk about things that I think that are being done right and are done wrong. Here we go.
Is everyone ready? Yes, okay. Good morning. I am Lieutenant Danielle Gately with the Public Information Office. Thank you all for joining us today. We are here to provide updates on the two tragic incidents that occurred on Easter Sunday, April 9th. This morning you will hear from Police Chief Eric Smith, Homicide Detective Patrick Kavanaugh, and that's C-A-V-A-N-A-U-G-H, Homicide Detective Maxwell Persons, that's P-E-R-S-O-N-S, and Homicide Sergeant Pete Cadiz, C-A-D-I-Z. Detective Kavanaugh will provide an update on the Poppy Park homicide, and Detective Persons will provide an update on the Grand Street homicide. We will also show you body-worn camera footage from the officer-involved shooting on Grand Street. We will not be able to provide any comments in reference to this, as this is still being investigated by FDLE. I will now turn it over to Chief Eric Smith.
Good morning. I'm here today to update you on two Easter shootings that we had in two of our communities. Our Paramore community and our Carver Shores neighborhoods were both victims of tragedy. Two innocent children and a grandmother were senselessly killed on Grand Street for no legitimate reason. And our second shooting in Carver Shores, members of our community were sitting on their porch enjoying an Easter afternoon when they were caught in gunfire. Another shooting that did not have to happen. I want to thank every officer that responded to both tragic incidents and to the detectives who have been working nonstop to investigate these cases. Today, our detectives will provide you updates on each case. We will also release a body-worn camera video of the Grand Street officer-involved shooting. Our officers responded to a domestic call and were shot at by the suspect. Fortunately, none of our officers were injured. This case is being investigated by FDLE, and as you know, I'm unable to answer any questions specific to the officer-involved shooting. I will now turn it over to Detective Patrick Kavanaugh, who will provide you an update on the Poppy Park homicide.
Good morning, Detective Patrick Kavanaugh. On Sunday, April 9th, there was a large gathering in Poppy Park, which is in the Carver Shores neighborhood. Due to the event, traffic was stopped on Lescott Lane. While stopped in traffic, an adult driver of a purple Lamborghini got into a verbal altercation with a teenage pedestrian, which led to an exchange of gunfire. The teenager, Tristan Morgan, was located in Poppy Park with a gunshot wound, and he later succumbed to his injuries. The driver of the Lamborghini, Jamal Watson, was transported to the hospital, and he also succumbed to his injuries. On the north side of Lescott Lane, 3 innocent females were struck by gunfire. One of the victims, Patricia Detterville, succumbed to her injuries at a local hospital. There is still one victim who is in stable condition, and the other was discharged from the hospital later that evening. This is still an active investigation. We're asking the public if they have any information, photos, or videos to please contact the Orlando Police Department. You can also report a tip anonymously to Crime Line at 1-800-423-TIPS. Thank you.
Good morning. Thank you all for being here. I'm Detective Maxwell Persons, Orlando Police Homicide, and I'm going to be talking to you about the Grand Street homicide incident. On 4/9/2023, Easter morning, a caller to 911 who was identified as the suspect's girlfriend was out for the evening with friends when a verbal altercation occurred over the phone between her and her live-in boyfriend, Lacorvis Daley. Lacorvis was stating that the witness did not return home. He was going to harm or hurt her mother. She then received a text message from her mother, 69-year-old Carol Fulmore, at 2:18 a.m. stating, "Help, he is shooting a gun, call police." Carol was home with the suspect, Lacorvis, his 7-year-old son Cameron Bowie, and the girlfriend's 13-year-old daughter, Damiona Reed. At approximately 2:21 a.m., Orlando Police Communications received a 911 phone call from the girlfriend requesting police. Officers received the call and responded to the residence within minutes. Once they arrived, officers heard shots being fired. Daley, who was armed with a handgun, had exited the residence and was confronted by responding officers. The officers exchanged gunfire with Daley, who was fatally injured during the exchange. Officers secured the exterior of the residence and made entry inside. 3 victims with gunshot wounds were located. The 69-year-old and the 13-year-old were confirmed deceased on scene. The 7-year-old child was immediately removed from the residence and rushed to a local hospital by 2 officers. The officers acted quickly and due to the danger presented at the scene, decided to drive the child victim to ORMC themselves. Aid was rendered to the child, and he was pronounced deceased at the hospital by medical personnel. A rifle, a stolen semi-automatic handgun, ammunition, and magazines were located in Daley's bedroom, spread out on his bed. Witnesses were interviewed who stated that Daley's been recently acting erratically and had become paranoid, stating that people were conspiring to get him. Daley's a 4-time convicted felon and had been previously arrested for domestic violence against the mother of Cameron in 2016, as well as multiple other charges to include a conviction for aggravated battery with a deadly weapon in 2010, which resulted in a 3-year prison sentence at Sumter Corrections Institution. Daley's son Cameron was in the custody during the weekdays with Daley and would typically return home to his mother on holidays and weekends. We want to remind our community of free resources out there to help you or someone you know that is involved in a domestic violence situation. Harbor House of Central Florida can be reached at 407-886-2856. Thank you.
All right, you are now going to see the body-worn camera video from the officer-involved shooting.
Right here. Hold on. Oh shit. Okay, hold on. Let's get it right. Hold on. Hey, headquarters, we're 97. It sounds like we got a gunshot going on. Hang on. Okay, do I got more units coming?
We're rolling up it.
Okay. When I get a few more units, we're gonna approach the house. Let's get a couple units on the other side of the street, backside.
3 Avondale and Grand. Watch crossfire. I'll see you.
Right here. Hey! Hands! Let me see that.
He's in the ground.
One down! Hey! Okay, hold traffic! Okay?
Don't move! Do not move! Don't move! Do not move! Do not move!
Hey, hold, guys, come up with me. Come up. Okay, hold on. Secure the gun.
What's wrong?
Okay.
This is the house.
Gun in the house. Where?
No, I said watch. I don't know if there's another.
Okay, hold here. Thread on here. Thread here. Listen to me. Listen, we need to secure him. We have shots fired. Suspect is down.
Get back in!
Hey, help me move.
Yep. I need one to secure him. We need to put medical on this guy. Okay.
I'm holding it. Where's the gun?
The gun's secure.
We got gun secure. I'm holding the house. Provide medical.
Go up here. Move here. Okay, come on up. Move here.
You got units coming to you. Keep officers what you need.
You got gloves?
Yeah, 10-4. We're getting one secure now. He was shooting at us. We got the house unlocked. Units on the rear of the house. Watch your crossfire.
Yeah, hey. Hey, I'm securing the gun.
Headquarters, I need OFD.
All right, you're now going to see a couple photos. Here is a picture of the officer's patrol car that was shot at by the suspect. And here it is from another angle. And here is a picture of the gun the suspect used to shoot at officers. We're now going to take a few questions on the 2 homicide investigations. Chief Smith and Sergeant Cadiz will answer your questions, but just a reminder that we cannot comment on the officer-involved shooting investigation.
So, the Poppy Park.
Okay. I don't know why they included that first homicide information in this. I thought that was going to be like something related to it, you know, like dude's involved in something in the beginning and then something else, and then they caught up with them. Looks like they were just trying to get 2 birds with 1 stone, so to speak, with their press release here. I think that was kind of probably the not most ideal decision to be making there. I think having that, what appears to me, that totally unrelated incident being discussed and talked about in the briefing for this offensive-involved shooting, that just confuses people. I know it confused me. It sounded like at the beginning that a person was sending some text messages, and I'll have to go back to listen to it one more time just to kind of get some clarification here.
Thank you all for being here. I'm Detective Maxwell Persons, Atlanta Police Homicide. I'm going to be talking to you about the Grand Street homicide incident. On 4/9/2023, Easter morning, a caller to 911 who was identified as the suspect's girlfriend was out for the evening with friends when a verbal altercation occurred over the phone between her and her live-in boyfriend, Lacorvis Daley. Lacorvis was stating that the witness did not return home. He was going to harm or hurt her mother. She then received a text message from her mother, 69-year-old Carol Fulmore, at 2:18 a.m. stating, "Help, he's shooting a gun, call police." Carol was home with the suspect, Lacorvis, his 7-year-old son Cameron Bowie, and the girlfriend's 13-year-old daughter, Damiona Reed.
So I wish they would have provided the 911 call, because that would help get some clarification going on. But it seems like there's a good possibility that they should have known that he has a gun and he's shooting. Because if this person's calling 911 on their behalf and all that, and they're saying he's got a gun, he's shooting, I would imagine that information would be relayed to 911. And if it was, that should have been relayed to them when they got on scene. If that had been relayed to them, which I think it might have been, because you see this officer walking with their handgun out, that should have been the signal to them, hey, we go to this call, we get rifles out. Calls, high-risk calls like that involve gunplay are an automatic rifle come out kind of scenario. No questions about it. That ends up being one of my biggest gripes when it comes to these types of videos. Officers neglecting to get their rifles out when they need to have them out. So going to a call like this, I think that what should happen is an officer should get their rifle out and prepare it before they ever get on scene. That way, when they get on scene, they can dismount from the vehicle with a rifle ready to be put into play. So if an officer keeps the rifle in the back cargo hold of the vehicle, then they just need to stop, get out, get that rifle, charge it, turn the sight on, throw the sling around their neck, get back in the car, and proceed to the scene. And once they get out, boom, rifle is in play. If the rifle's up in the cab of the vehicle, then I still think that stopping can be done. That's probably going to be the safest option, is to just come to a stop, get it out, charge it, get it ready, etc., and then proceed. Some people may be able to, while they're driving, pull the rifle out of its mount and then charge it and turn the sight on while they're driving. That can that can require some multitasking as you're driving down the road. It's not the most safest thing to do, but some people can do those tasks while still driving. But just know that stopping the car and doing all that stuff is safer. And of course, like I said, the benefit is as soon as you come on scene, boom, you've got a rifle ready to put into play. So they were lucky that when they got there, they heard a shot. They had enough time, or he had enough time to get his rifle. And then as he started to go forward, boom, guy came out and started to fight them with his gun. If they had got there and he did not have time to get that rifle out and put it into play, he would not have had that opportunity to get that rifle ready. He would have been attacked by this guy when all he had was a handgun. Handguns suck in comparison to rifles. That's why I always say, if you know you're going to a gunfight, bring a rifle. The only reason why pistols are carried on a daily basis is because they're comfortable and convenient to be able to carry all day long versus a rifle. If you try to carry a rifle around all day, it's not very convenient, and wearing a slung rifle for hours can be very uncomfortable. But aside from that, the biggest reason is because law enforcement is not getting involved in gunfights every single day. When you look at your local police, when was the last time they were involved in a gunfight? And if it was recent, try to think about before that. When was the last time they got into a gunfight? The gunfights just aren't happening at a high rate at the local levels. Officers are not getting involved in gunfights on a daily basis, on a weekly basis. The majority of the police out there get to go their entire career and never have to shoot anybody. So those are the reasons why pistols are just always carried. Now, when it comes to rifle training and pistol training, one of the reasons why I think that officers neglect to get rifles out more frequently is because of unrealistic training in regards to rifles. So when you think about pistol training, you're on the line and you've got your holster on and the drill, the whistle blows or the fight command comes out, whatever, and you shoot. You draw your gun, your handgun from your holster, and you shoot the target. That's very, very realistic because you're going to be walking around with a holstered gun all the time. And so when something rapidly, suddenly happens, boom, it's right there. That's realistic. When it comes to rifles, you start on the line. And all your drills start from when you're on the line holding that rifle. That's not realistic because you do not just walk around with a rifle all damn day like you do with a pistol on your side. So what I think rifle training needs to incorporate and have multiple drills and iterations of is the student having to go retrieve their rifle from its place. And if that's in the cab and a mount, or if that's in the trunk or the cargo hold of an SUV, then that's what needs to happen at the beginning of not all the drills in a rifle class, but it needs to be done multiple times to get that student into the habit of thinking about getting that rifle out from where it's at. And in the process of getting it out too, you get it out, you disengage any sight caps on there, turn the sight on, charge the rifle, put the sling on. There's been a few videos out there where officers get their rifle out and they get up, quote unquote, on the line, and they realize their sight isn't on. They have to dick with their sight and turn that damn thing on. Or I've seen one where the rifle wasn't charged. I've seen one where the magazine and the rifle was not seated in properly, and they got one round off and the magazine fell out the damn gun. So when you get your rifle out of its place, you need this process to go through. Tap, tug the magazine, charge the rifle, take any sight caps off the sights, the optics, and turn on your optics, and then sling the rifle. That should be that should be a set thing to do every time you go get the rifle out of its place. That way you build up that muscle memory, and then get to the line and do the shooting. I think that and some other things could help develop the fighting mindset for officers and get officers more into the mindset of, hey, if we are going to a gunfight, we're bringing rifles. We're getting rifles out. Pistols are just not as great. Now, pistols can work. They can cause incapacitation, but they just don't do it as good as a rifle does. And I think in some ways, that knowledge, that mindset is lacking with a lot of officers, because you just see way too many of them going at things with pistols. Now, another thing that could play a role into why officers are not getting rifles out is bullshit policies implemented by administrations. For example, if you get a rifle out, some agencies say you have to notify a supervisor, you have to put it out on the radio that you're getting your rifle out, and you have to do a report on why you got your rifle out. You have to, talk to the sergeant about why you got that out. There's actually some places that if you pull your taser out and you just point it at someone, you don't even have to shoot the damn thing. You just point it at someone. You have to write a report on why you pointed a taser at someone. There's even some places that if you pull your handgun out of your holster, just pulling it out of the holster, you have to do a report on it. And these agencies, these administrators of these agencies do that because they think that's going to help reduce any incidents, any mishaps, by creating bureaucratic red tape bullshit. They know people don't like doing reports. They know that if someone has to go justify to the sergeant about why they had to pull a rifle out, and if it's not good enough, they're going to get their ass chewed, they're probably not going to do it. That's dangerous. That is putting officers' lives at risk when bullshit policies like that are put in place. Not every agency has bullshit policies like that, but some do. I don't know if this agency has anything like that or not. But overall, that could be a contributing factor in some of these cases across the country on why officers are not getting rifles out when they need to be getting them out.
Right here. Hold on. Oh shit. Okay, hold on. Let's get right. Hold on. Hey, headquarters, we're 97. Sounds like we got a gunshot going on. Hang on.
Alright, so I like the shadow here because you can see him fiddling with his keys hanging off of him. So I have a key fob holder on my duty belt that came from a company called 09 Holsters. And it puts the key fob in a little Kydex holder and it mounts to the belt. That keeps the key fob in the same orientation. That way, when I reach down to it, I know when I press the button closest to my belt buckle, that locks the car. When I press the button furthest from my belt buckle, that unlocks the car. When I press the button to the bottom, that opens the trunk. It's instantaneous. All I have to do is reach down with my finger. I feel the opening of that key fob face, and I just, if I want to lock the car, I push my finger to the belt buckle, press in, that locks the car. If I press away from the belt buckle and press in, boom, that unlocks the car. So I think something like that helps you more quickly get into a vehicle, or let's say, a trunk of the car. I know when I go to the back of my car, all I gotta do is reach down to that key fob holder, press down to the bottom of it, press in, and boom, my trunk is opening. It's very quick. I don't have to reach down, feel for the key fob dangling on a key ring, orientate it correctly, look down at it, see, where did I press that? Oh, I'll press right here, click. It's just instantaneous. Reach down, orientate, click. Reach down, orientate, click. And you can see that he fumbles with it, trying to get the right button.
Quarters, we're 97. Sounds like we got a gunshot going on. Hang on.
Now, it doesn't take that seriously long, but still, it adds extra time when you're having to feel for the key fob and get it orientated right, and then click the button. When it's in a mount, like one from 09 holsters, works great. Highly recommend that. I actually have a video on it, so if you go to the gear playlist, you should be able to find the 09 holster key fob holder in it. So we don't get to see a whole lot of the interior of the cargo hold here. But just like any trunk of a public safety vehicle, it's full of stuff, right? It's got all kinds of shit in there. When it comes to storing things in your trunk, there are two things that need to always be at the top. They never need to be buried below all that junk in there, and you need to make the conscious effort to always make sure those two things are on the top. Number one is your rifle, if you keep a rifle in the trunk or cargo area, and number two is your trauma bag. You should never have to dig through shit to get to your trauma bag. It should always be on top. Those two things always on top. When it comes to rifle cases, I think that having them positioned to the opening of that trunk or cargo area is more optimal. That way, as soon as you open it, boom, it's right there for you. I think that soft-sided cases are the best kind of cases to have. I don't think that hard cases are the best because of all the multiple latches on the side. When you try to, hit all those different latches, and then you go to open, you may have one latch that's still kind of hanging. You got to reach over there and fiddle with it and then get the thing up. And then you have to push that lid all the way back. And if you're not having a completely flat surface inside that trunk, you open it and then you try to reach in and grab something, it closes back down on you, etc. Like I said, I just don't think that hard-sided cases are the best thing. Soft-sided cases, I think, are more optimal, and you can have them positioned in a way so that you can have the zipper face pointing up, and you can actually have the zipper partially undone, so that way when you open the trunk, this thing's sitting there like a taco, and inside the taco is the rifle. All you got to do is reach in there and grab that rifle and pull it out. The soft-sided case keeps the sides protected, keeps the sights from being bumped and stuff like that. I think it just makes it a more efficient and quick deployment of the rifle when you have a setup like that. Another thing to think about with soft-sided cases and stuff like that, or rifle cases, or med trauma kits that may have zippers or something like that on there, you can get glow-in-the-dark zipper tabs to put on. There's actually some tritium zipper pull tabs you can get so that those things are always glowing, and when you reach down, you can open the trunk and you reach down to the glowing thing and grab it and rip that zipper open. That way you don't have to like pull a light out and trying to see exactly what you're doing, what you're grabbing for, etc. You just open it, it's dark, and you can see that glowing vial on the zipper pull. Things like that I think would be a good option. Using brightly colored paracord. You know, you don't have to have black paracord zipper pull tabs on your rifle bag or anything like that. You can put the neon green, toxic green stuff on there, the yellow stuff with the reflective striping on it. You can put that stuff on your zipper pulls. That way it's more easily visible and is easier to grab and get a hold of. If you've got a black zipper against a black bag and the pull tab is black and at night, do you think that's going to be easy to see? Or do you think a neon green kind of color is easier to see if you have that kind of color paracord as your pull tab? It's obvious which one's going to be easier.
Okay, do I got more units coming? We're rolling up it. Okay. When I get a few more units, we're going to approach the house. Let's get a couple units on the other side of the street, backside. 30 Avondale and Grand. Watch crossfire.
So he's talking about wanting to wait for a couple more units. So incidents like this. This is where a lack of definitive terminology or concise definitions. There's a lack of that when it comes to incidents like this. So way back in the day, people who were serial killers, there was no term for them. And some people did some studies into them. FBI started, interviewing people like this, comparing notes and, how they did things, etc. And then they started coming up with, well, there's organized killers, there's unorganized killers, there's signature killers. And started coming up with these different definitions of stuff. When you look at active shooter or mass killing, it's a very broad definition. Just the mere act of a gang member shooting at another gang member or gang members, that alone, that could, by some people, be called a mass shooting or an active shooter incident. For many people, including me, when you say active shooter, the visual of it is something like Columbine High School. Like, I think that kind of incident is easy for everyone to say, yeah, that's an active shooter. Yeah, that's a mass shooting. When it's the gang member stuff, that's a stretch. It's not the true merit of what we see as active shooter. When it comes to family massacres like this, where a person decides to just start killing their whole damn family, that's somewhere in the same ball field as active shooter, but there's no good definition for it. And it's not the same as someone who just goes into the school and starts killing random people who are not tied to them whatsoever. So I do think that there needs to be some more studies into active killers and mass killers, and have a better set of definitions for what kind of incident it is. Would this be called a family active shooter? And then, the other things, non-family, public active shooter. Like, I don't know what the terminologies could be, but I just know that there are differences in them, and I think that there needs to be some better definitions in place. So with that being said, this is sort of like a form of an active killer. This guy has decided he's going to be killing his family. That last gunshot that we hear, don't know what's going on with it. He could have been given the final execution shot for one of the family members, and what they heard was, someone dying. He could have had a negligent discharge. Who knows? But I think that, and this also goes back to what I said about the 911 call. We don't know what the 911 call came out like, I'm sorry, not the 911 call. We don't know what the radio broadcast came out like for these officers. We don't know if it came out as a description as the person is reportedly shooting the family, or if there's a domestic disturbance, one person is armed with a gun, and that's all they know. So we don't know how it was presented to them. But if it was presented to them as this guy has got a gun and he is shooting the gun, then I think that they should have treated this more similar to kind of an active shooter type of incident, where instead of waiting for more people, just go in there and do the damn thing. Fucking do work. Every gunshot you hear is someone dying or being seriously physically injured and or disfigured for the rest of their life. Someone being put in a wheelchair for the rest of their life. Someone having their face disfigured and non-repairable and just being disfigured for the rest of their life.
I'll see here.
Right here. Hey! Hands! Let me see that. One down! Hey! Okay, hold traffic! Okay?
Don't move! Do not move! Don't move! Do not move! Don't move, brother! Do not move!
Hey, hold, guys, come up with me. Come up. Hey, hold on. Secure the door. Okay? It's not in the house. Where?
No, I said watch. I don't know if there's another.
Okay, hold here. Thread on here. Listen to me. Listen, we need to secure him. We have shots fired. Suspect is down.
Get back in! Hey, help me move.
Yep. I need one to secure him. We need to put medical on this guy. Okay?
I'm holding it. Where's the gun?
The gun's secure.
We got gun secure. I'm holding the house. Provide medical.
Go up here. Move here. Okay, come on up. Move here.
I like how this guy takes charge. He tells them, listen to me. He's getting these guys, he's lassoing them in, getting them back in the zone and telling them basically, without saying it, shut the fuck up and listen to me. And he is not just verbally guiding them where to go, he is physically guiding them where to go. All right, you move here, go. So this guy, he's a chess player, right? He's moving all his pieces into play. He is the guy who is calling the shots and making things happen.
Okay. You just come and see your head. You talk to us. What do you need?
You got gloves? Yeah, 10-4. We're getting one secure now. He was shooting at us. We got the house unlocked. Units on the rear of the house. Watch your crossfire.
Yeah, hey, I'm securing the door.
Headquarters, I need OFD. The house, watch your crossfire.
Yeah, hey.
So we see him having to give him gloves. This is kind of another gripe of mine with these videos because I see it so often. Officers not having a pair of gloves on them. Like, why? This profession brings you into contact with nasty-ass people. People who've got bodily fluids over them, whether that's blood, piss, shit, puke, dirty clothing, touching evidence, don't want to leave your fingerprints or DNA on things, etc. Like, that's part of the job. Why are you not carrying a pair of gloves on you? There's no valid excuse. It's just irresponsibility. When it comes to bodily fluids, there are bloodborne pathogens that can be carried in them. And you don't want to catch bloodborne pathogens. You don't want AIDS. You don't want hepatitis. You have to assume that everyone you deal with has the worst of the worst. And you don't want to touch them unless you've got gloves on. So you should always have gloves on you. They don't take up a whole lot of room. They're super light. Heck, you can get a glove pouch that carries 2 pairs in them. It goes in the small of your back. And it weighs next to nothing. Put them in your back pocket. Like, they're not bulky at all. So there's no good valid excuse on why officers are not carrying gloves. It's just irresponsibility. Dereliction of duty.
Headquarters, I need OFD.
All right, you're now going to see a couple photos.
I wish we would have been able to see some more body cam footage past this point. I think that guy was doing a really good job of being a leader. He was directing people where to go. He had good, clear communications, talking about what he wanted, reminding people about crossfire, behind the house, etc. Really would have liked to see more out of him. I think he was a pretty good example of what kind of leadership you need on the scene of an emergency.
Here's a picture of the officer's patrol car that was shot at by the suspect. And here it is from another angle.
So luckily, officer was on the other side here. Engine block was going to be stopping those rounds from going all the way through the vehicle. Had the bad guy been more closer to over here and shot through the passenger door to where the officer was on the other side of the driver door, there's a chance the bullet could have hit him. Bullets go through car doors very easily. They go through the skins of vehicles very easily. The only things in a vehicle that's going to, for sure, stop bullets will be the engine block, transmission casing, and the axles of the vehicle, and the thick, the rotor part of the wheels. Those are big chunks of metal. Those stop bullets very well. Car doors, nope. Even a small 22 will go through a whole car door, no problem whatsoever. The back of a sedan, back there where the trunk is, one round can go through the back side of the car, the passenger side, and come out the driver's side of that rear right there. No problem whatsoever. Vehicles are known as bullet magnets. They're not places where you want to be at or in when gunfire happens. I don't know the rest of the layout of the scene. We see a tree right there. It's not a big tree. We can't see much of anything else. There could have been some other places within the environment right there that they could have gotten out to. When they're out here in the street, there are some street lights that appear to be on, but then something like over here where it's a very dark shadow. So when they got there, instead of standing out there in the middle of the street, that would be a good place to go sit. Granted, there may be no cover in here, but there is concealment. You're hiding in the shadows. It's unlikely dude has night vision or thermal. He's not going to fucking see you there. So, better understanding your environments and how nighttime creates shadows, how lights are, how you can be visible to someone else, that can go a long way in maximizing your environment so that you can remain hidden. We can't see what's off to the other side here. We don't see it very well, but there could have been other spots where they could have gone to where they would have basically disappeared like a ninja. There's no easy way to replicate that in a training environment. You can create shadows and stuff on a range and yada yada yada, but you just cannot replicate a residential street like this at a training facility. So this is where doing some training out in the live could be beneficial. Getting out on foot, go to a bad neighborhood and do a foot patrol. Get a few officers, go out, and instead of walking around flashlights and everything on, studying the environment, having people walk further down and try and playing with the shadows, try and playing with the positioning and get a better idea about how you can better maneuver through environments at night without being seen.
Listen, we need to secure him. Secure him. We need to secure.
We got gun secure.
I don't know what kind of gun this is. I can't see what that says. What's that say? Dyer, Stoker. I don't know what the hell that is. I thought they mentioned that he had another gun. I thought they mentioned rifle and then a handgun that was stolen. This guy's a convicted felon, so he should not have been in possession of guns anyway. But as is the case, convicted felons get a hold of guns, and a lot of times they are stolen guns. Where was this gun stolen from? Don't know for sure, but my guess is it probably got stolen out of a car. A lot of guns get stolen out of cars because people will keep them in the center consoles or the glove box, and they won't lock it. And then someone breaks into the car and they steal the damn thing. Sometimes when people get home, they'll leave that gun in the car, and then they forget to lock their damn car. And then at night, people walk around and they do what's called car hopping. And they'll go try the handles of doors of cars, and whichever one's open, they get in and start rummaging through it and taking stuff. And then, boom, they find a gun. People leaving a gun at home when they go to work. They go to work, they're away from the house about 10 hours out of the day. And for 10 hours a day, that gun is sitting on a nightstand or in a nightstand and is easily accessible to anyone who comes near it. So gun owners need to become more responsible, and if their gun is not on them or within arm's reach, it needs to be made inaccessible or inoperable to unauthorized people. That, I think, would decrease the amount of guns being stolen and used on the streets.
We're now going to take a few questions on the...
All right, so that's it from the body cam footage and everything about talking about mindset, tactics, skills, and gear. I'll listen to the questions and then offer any commentary from that, and then we'll be done.
2 homicide investigations. Chief Smith and Sergeant Cadiz will answer your question.
The 16-year-old dude who died and the man in the Lamborghini, they were firing at each other. Is that correct?
The 17-year-old. Yes, sir. They were firing at each other. We believe there is a third shooter involved as well. That individual has been accounted for. Need to be conducted.
So since you weren't searching for anyone, it seems like perhaps your shooter is going to be victims of that.
We believe so, yes, sir.
So do you know which one of them fired first?
From what we can tell, it's simultaneous. So
We're there as
We'll actually be there and take part in it, but also provide security. It just helps us to have officers there. I mean, we had 7 or 8 different events we had officers at throughout our community, and just to have officers there, whether they're taking part or as security, it just helps.
yeah, so both shooters, the individual inside the Lamborghini and the person that was standing outside the Lamborghini, are both firing their weapons. Both were shot and killed. The individuals across the street from the park was a family celebrating Easter, not. And we are as well.
And just a point of clarity, is he 16 or 17? Because the birthday we have is 9/20/06.
Yeah, Tristan is 17.
Okay.
We'll clarify that after. We'll make sure we
When
get it
we're
right.
gonna see results, the first results, after the binding strategy of the plan of security.
And, I'm sorry.
When we're gonna see the first results after the binding strategy. I'm talking about the plan of security plan.
The security plan, that's another discussion. As far as the investigation that we're conducting right now, there's a number.
And I was asking him about the plan. What is this other thing? And you are of the team of the plan. For this reason, I'm here.
I get the question. Okay, so basically, the plan of the Orlando Police Department has been for the most part has been working. Shootings with victim are down 45% this week, even with the tragedy we just had. So, we at the police department, we can't stop every shooting. I can't stop somebody from having a domestic violence incident and then going in there and unfortunately, killing their loved ones and then coming out shooting at us with the police. I can't stop that. I can't stop somebody seeing somebody they don't like safe, no matter what happens.
Other thing, and you are the.
Just trying to get his notes. I did have a question about, but you can't offer.
We're going to take 2 more questions.
I was going to say, I know you can't answer the officer-involved shooting investigation, but when this guy who was shot dead by officers, was he having an erratic episode when he, this happened?
That's early stage of the investigation, so we just can't.
All right, so it seems like they talked mostly about the Lamborghini dude in the park or whatever. So it doesn't look like they have any good questions or any statements about the family homicide incident. So nothing else to talk about with this video. If you like what you hear and see, go ahead and give me a like and a share. If you have not already, hit the subscribe button and stay tuned for more Monday quarterback videos. Earl Henderson, Primordial Defense. Thank you for watching.